Hello everyone, my name is Hugo and today I'm going to talk to you about web performance, especially with Next.js. Before I do that though, I would like you to comment and subscribe and like our videos to always stay up to date with all things web performance. Optimizing images on the web is a very tricky topic. It involves a lot of moving parts. It really depends on your architecture, on what you really want to achieve. And typically, it's always been pretty difficult to do this properly. However, with Next.js, it's actually pretty trivial. Next.js provides fantastic developer experience when it comes to actually optimizing images. A good example of this would be the Next image component, which is basically a baked-in version of an image that basically almost does all the heavy lifting for you. So the Next image component provides us with a couple of things out of the box. Usually the most challenging parts of doing the image optimization is, first of all, deciding which images are actually crucial to show to the user first, the size of those images, and when are they loaded. The rendering strategies usually involve lazy loading images. However, not all images should be lazy loaded, and usually we can tell the browser which images should be loaded first and which images should be loaded later using priority. So let's say you have a product page on which you want to showcase your newest product, and then below the showcase of your product, you have a couple of opinions about the product and some faces of the people that might be talking about it. Ideally, you would want to show the product first before everything else, and the faces of people talking about it might not necessarily be so crucial as to defer everything else to load them, so they can be loaded later. With Next Image, it's really easy to do this because Next Image, first of all, checks whenever the image is actually in the initial viewport whenever we load it. So it already takes this as a hint. You can also specify the priority on it and make sure that an image is explicitly marked as something that is crucial. So you can tell Next Image, hey, this is an image that we want to load right away, and those are the images that you can wait with for a bit. And this is something that's really easy to do, and usually not that easy. One of the most important parts of image performance is serving properly sized images. Now, what I mean by this is that if you have a picture of something that you want to showcase to the user, it might be a 4K picture of great quality of a pretty big size. Now, if a user is viewing your content through a lens of a mobile device, it doesn't really make sense to show them the full resolution and the full size of the picture, because not only would that make the website load much slower, it will also potentially waste some data on the user part and make the experience generally worse. In those scenarios, you would want to show the image that is perfectly fitted for the user's device, which becomes tricky because there are countless amounts of devices, amount of screen sizes. So ideally, you would want to have one picture for every possible screen size. Now, to do this manually would be quite hard, especially if you have a lot of those images. The task becomes pretty much impossible. And this is one of those places where Next Image actually comes into play. Whenever you pass an image to Next Image, you specify a couple of values. You can omit them, and then Next Image is actually making a best guess. But usually you can tell Next Image what screen sizes you anticipate users to be on, or what version of the image you would like to show on certain screen sizes, and Next Image, so to speak, automagically converts the image to proper sizes depending on the screen size, which also has been historically pretty hard to do, and here happens kind of out of the box. Lazy loading of images. Most of the time when we load a web page, we have multiple pictures on it. Some might be more important to show, some might be less important to show, and it's usually pretty hard to, or it has historically been hard to actually decide which pictures should we show first, should load first, and which should be loaded later. Now it's pretty easy. We have things like intersection observers. We have many tools which you can use in JavaScript, and Next Image does pretty much the same thing. It monitors which images are in the current viewport. If they're not in the current viewport, it means that we don't really need to show them, so they're not loaded. So we save bandwidth, we save speed, and whenever a user scrolls down the page, opens a model, goes to another page, then we can show the image and actually load it. Another thing that's really easy to do with Next Image is giving it priority hints. Priority hints for images basically tell the browser how important the image is to show. So whenever we have a product page and we have a big product picture that we would really like to show to the user as soon as possible, we can hint the browser using the hint property on the image we can tell the browser that this image is crucial for the user and it's crucial for us to show it first. And we can use the same property or the same kind of hinting for the other images and tell the browser that those images are not necessarily as important, so we can defer the loading to later. If you like that quick video about image optimization with Next.js and Next Image, please consider liking and subscribing. It will make sure that you can keep up to date with all the tech news and all the tips that we have to offer. And see you again in the next episode.